Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Galindo. Welcome to the second video tutorial for Fusion 360, my first car. And I really need to come up with a catchphrase, don't I? A lot of other people have a intro kind of thing. I haven't got around to it yet. I don't know, I kind of see the idea and merit behind it, but it also takes energy and time, so apologies. We're going to start this particular video by focusing on creating this body component for our vehicle. Now our vehicle so far only consists of one design and it hasn't got anything in it other than that. To start with though, we need to follow some standard rules of Fusion, such as rule number 1, the primary rule, which is if you're going to create something, make a new component. To do this, we create the new component, we make sure it says empty, we give it a name. This is going to be my first car body. And I managed to stuff up the capitals and make sure it's activated. The actual rule says make a new component and activate it to. Those are the words, and what it means is to do anything you need to do that first. Okay, so if you want to make something, you need to make a new component and activate it to design, to create, to modify, to whatever. You always need to do that one at the beginning. So click OK. You'll notice now that we've got my first car body here. My origin has gone a bit faint. That's because I've now got the my first body as the active component. If you go back to the assembly here, I've got multiple components and the whole assembly is the active part. If I only had, say, the grommet that was active and I devisualized it, for example this one here, everything else would go semi-faint. So I'm going to just try that by, well, it will take a bit of time. Going back to my first car, we need to create this body here. I'm going to devisualize the origin for the actual file and revisualize or hide show the my first car body origin. I'm going to expand that tree, which is quite convenient. And then I'm going to go to the first drawing. The first drawing has all the information we need to go through to create this shape here, highlighted in red. You'll notice that each of the drawings have a different component highlighted in color, the idea being that that's the bit you're working on. At the end, it shows the end goal. Now, I'd like to point out that this series is designed for people who have already used this program a little bit. You should have already done a series of tasks, a series of instructional videos, maybe a couple of investigations, maybe a couple of verbal presentations even, on different ways to use this tool. So I'm not going to go through the basics here. I'm going to show you my method of creating this design. And you are very welcome to go forward and skip through the videos if you feel you're up to it and able to make the design drawings, using the design drawings. Bear in mind though that if you get stuck, you need to come back and refer to the video first before you ask me, remembering that, or your teacher, because remember there's a whole class of students who are working on this at any one time, and you know, if you decide to take your time into your own hands, which I commend you if you feel like you can do, you need to be aware that it's up to you then if it's working or not. So, to create the body, I'm going to check my drawing. You need to interpret all the information because this is like another language. It's got all the information you need here. It's trying to convey a message, and the message is this shape here needs to be designed to this dimension. And then I also check for additional notes. For example, extrude 32.5 millimeters on the YZ plane. Cool. So I know I need to use the extrude tool to make this 3D. I know it needs to be 32.5 mil. You get the idea. I'm using the YZ plane. Alright, I'm going to go through and start doing this. I'm just going to read off as I go. I select sketch. This could either select the YZ here, or I could hover and work out which one that is. It's this one. I'm now going to go, okay, the origin's in the top right. Here's the origin here. I'm going to just drag using the center mouse button up to the top right. Zoom out slightly because I think I'll need it. Whoops, that's in. There we go. Now I'm going to break that drawing down into one rectangle there, I think, and 4 arcs. Yeah, that'll do. Click the first mouse button. Now I'm going to dimension as I go. So I'm going to type in 21 tab and go 75 tab. It's important to note, guys, that everything should go black. All the lines should be black when you finish your design. That means it's fully dimensioned. That's what we're aiming for. You should also be aware that this is a video. It has a pause, rewind, and replay function. So if you get stuck, if you're unsure, please rewind, try it again. Just press Ctrl Z or use the undo button up here to get back to where you know you got it right. Okay, let's try those two arcs. Go arc, tangent arc, select the arc point, cool. the next one. Whoops, I went from the wrong line there. Right click, repeat tangent. That would be better. I don't always talk to myself, especially don't talk to myself if I'm doing this on my own. But when I'm, working to create a design for students to use, I guess it's convenient for me to speak a little bit out loud. I've just selected the dimension tool. I'm trying to use as many different methods of getting to the same tool as I can in my videos. For example, this time I'm just going to click D on the keyboard. Now I've got the dimension tool again. Okay, that needed to be 80. Okay, that's starting to look quite good. What dimensions am I missing? Okay, there's one from the origin to the bottom, which is 29, and one from the origin to the tip, which is 200. So let's try those. Perfect. Cool. Okay, that's now black, so the rectangle is fully locked in, but blue points here are not. Okay, I can lift them up and down. Let's put a line between the front and the back. And then select that line, make sure it's horizontal, because now I've got the horizontal constraint, which I know is attached to it. And then I want to do a coincidence, I think, between the line, holding shift on the keyboard, the midpoint of this vertical line, and now I've got all those lines gone solid black, which means that they're definitely fully constrained. Selecting the ones in the middle, I'm going to then click on normal construction at the top, and now they're construction lines, so that they don't interact with my extrude. I could go create extrude. I could also go and click the extrude button, or I could just click E on my keyboard and select the profile I want. I'm going to go 32.5, and then I'm going to hold shift and the center mouse button and drag it around to see the 3D profile. Do I want any flaring? No, I do not, so I'm going to go back to 0 for that. New body correct, profile plane correct, one side correct, distance is fine. Check what that looks like from the home view. That kind of matches up. Perfect. Click OK. And that's it. That is the body component for this vehicle done. You'll notice now that my first car body component here has got an origin, bodies, and sketches. So the sketch we created can be revisualized if you want us to be able to see it. And you'll notice down in our timeline now we've got the sketch and the drawing. So I could click play here, and it will show you the stages it took to get to this stage. Cool. Right, that's stage 1 done. Well done if you've gotten this far. Give it a good go. Yell out if you need some help from me or your other teacher. Cheers.